Vedamanuchyacharyoonte vasinamanushasti satyam vada dharmanchara. So this is a statement from the Taittiriya Shruti. When a student is graduating after having studied the Vedas, the first instructions the teacher gives the student is as follows: Satyam vada, tell the truth. Dharmanchara, walk the path of dharma. Now, shANkara-s, the followers of shANkara-maThas and so on, they claim to be Vaidikas. However true that statement may be, at least they think that they are Vaidikas. And if so, they should follow this statement. They should speak the truth. Are they doing that? That's a question one needs to ask. Unfortunately, the answer is no. Many a time they are not truthful. Even Shankara, for that matter, how do you know the truth? You know it through pramANa-s, right? Now, they have the Shankaran sect has a very weird priority list of pramANa-s. First of all, they say that whatever we experience in the world, it is not actually real. It is Maya. It is an illusion. It is not actually true. It is illusion like a mirage or a dream. So for them, even pratyaxa, what I see a computer, I see myself in the computer, all that is an illusion according to them. So for them, the truth can't be known by your senses, even if they are working properly and perfectly, but by certain sections of the Shruti, the Abheda Shrutis only, not the Bheda Shrutis, mind you, only a certain select statements of the Shruti, which by the way happen to contradict your daily experience of reality. It claims that it's all unreal. Okay, so the priority list would be like this: Abheda Shrutayo Vede, and then Vyavahare Adushtam Pratyaksham. At least here they agree that the Pratyakshas make sense. So, modulo the Abheda Shrutis of the Vedas, you should not violate what you see in your senses. That Shankara instructs his disciples. Only then, only in to the extent that they don't contradict Adushta Pratyaksha, sense input, proper sense input, the other Shruti statements of the Vedas are valid. And so the Brahma Sutras as well. So, and then they have the Smriti Itihasas and Puranas, again cherry picking the Puranas. That's what they do by their own admission, because their procedure involves privileging one set of statements over another, not giving them equal weight. Okay, so this is the weird technique by which Shankaras obtain the truth according to them. Of course, there are many flaws here, but at least we should credit Shankara for saying that okay, you have a Shruti statement which says, for example, fire is cold. You should not take it at its face value. The pratyaksha pramana of fire being hot wins. Alright, so that he clearly says in Gita Bhashya 18.66, and this is the quote: Nahi shruti shatamapi shitogniraprakasho va iti bruvat pramanyam-upaiti. Yadi bruyat shitogniraprakasho va aprakasho veiti tathapi arthantaram shruter vivakshitam kalpyam pramanyanyathanupapattehe natu pramanantara viruddham swavachana viruddham va vivakshitam kalpyam. So this is what Shankaracharya says. At least the Shankaras, even if they don't follow the intuitive, proper, universally accepted method of finding the truth, At least to the extent Shankara is honest. They should be honest, no? However, that's not the case. Let us look at a couple of examples. In this regard, rather than individual shANkara-s, it is the shANkara-maThas which are culpable, which I will show shortly. So, one should distinguish smartas, who are followers of Smriti, which includes Vaishnavas, Shaivas, and shANkara-s, from shANkara-s. The colloquial confusion should be avoided. Not everyone born in a Shankara family, by the way, is a indoctrinated Shankara who thinks that his experience is unreal and so on. So let us see. So this gentleman here is Sri vidhushekhara-bhARatI of shRngeri Sharada Pitha. He is the junior acharya of the said Pitha. The Dakshinamnaya shRngeri Sharada Pitha is the title given to it. It's a very major matha. Now let us listen to what he says. This is going to be in Telugu.
tirupati తిరుమల క్షేత్రంలో వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి సన్నిధిలో అక్కడ ధనాకర్షణ యంత్రాన్ని స్థాపించారు.
ధనాకర్షణ యంత్రాన్ని స్థాపించారు, something like that. So he claims that Shankaracharya put a dhanakarshana yantra in the Tirupati temple. Now this is the most documented temple in India, or maybe in the world as well. Every little scratch is surveyed, studied and documented. No such yantra exists. Okay, let us listen further what all things he says.
కాబట్టి ఇప్పటికి కూడా మనం తిరుమలలో అక్కడ వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి గుడిలో దర్శనానికి వెళ్లే ముందు ఎక్కడైతే మనం అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ద్వారపాలకుల్ని దాటుకొని మనం లోపలికి వెళ్తామో, చాలామంది తిరుపతికి వెళ్ళినటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. లోపలికి ప్రవేశించి ధ్వజస్తంభం నుంచి లోపలికి ప్రవేశించిన తర్వాత అక్కడ గరుత్మంతుడి సన్నిధి ఉంది. వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి సరిగ్గా ఎదురుకుండా గరుత్మంతుడి సన్నిధి ఉంది. ఆ సన్నిధిని మనం దాటుకొని లోపలికి ఇంకా ముఖమండలం ఉన్నటువంటి మండపంలోకి ప్రవేశించడం కంటే ముందు ఎక్కడైతే జైవిజులు ఉన్నారో అక్కడ పక్కన ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక స్తంభంలో పైన శంకరాచార్యుల వారి విగ్రహాన్ని మనం చూడగలుగుతాం. ఇప్పటికి కూడా అక్కడ ఉన్నట్టు అక్కడ శంకర భగవత్పాదాచార్యుల వారి విగ్రహం అనేది అక్కడ సరిగ్గా ద్వారం బయట అక్కడే ఉంది.
Okay, so besides this non-existent dhanakarshana yantra in Tirupati, he claims that there is a Shankaracharya idol or a scratching or whatever it is in a particular location. And I know, because I checked with people who have very intimate access to the said areas, that no such Shankaracharya idol or engraving exists there. There are images of mundakas, sannyasis like this gentleman here, in other parts who are not particularly Shankaracharya or Madhvacharya or any other acharya, just sannyasins. There are such inscriptions in the temple. It's a very old temple. However, in the said location, let us look at the map. Okay, so you enter through the Mahadwaram, Dhvajastambha. So this is the Dhvajastambha, and there, once you enter, you have Garuda Sannidhi here, and you have the Hundi area here. So according to the description, he seems to be talking about this place. Okay, now this place, I have seen photos of it personally because I have contacts there, as I said. And there is a Dashavatara sequence on the top, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha and so on, including Vamana. Is it I don't think, with due respect, with proper respects to Sri Vidhushekara-bhARatI, that he is so stupid as to consider Vamana to be Shankaracharya. No, because it's clearly in the Dashavatara sequence. There is no sign of any Shankaracharya idol there at all. God only knows what he's talking about. If you know, please inform me, please send me photos. I hear that there is a 10,500 rupees VVIP ticket. A friend of mine challenged as soon as he heard this. He challenged anyone. Please come with me. I will pay your VVIP ticket, 10,500 rupees. We'll go there. You show me the Shankaracharya Vigraha. If it is there, I will not ask your money. I will happily have darshan and come back. But if it is not there, you refund me. So this was the challenge he made. I'm happy to connect you with him, and I'm as well happy to be corrected in my error, if any, about the sheer absence of this supposed Dhanakarshana yantra. What a weird imagination. And this non-existent title of Shankaracharya. God only knows why these kind of stories have been made up. Maybe it's because of the existence of, for example, Sri Ramanuja shrine in the precincts of Sri Venkateshvara Temple. So, at least you are supposed to trust your senses. You can trust your eyes. You can go to Tirupati, Tirumala Devasthana, and you can see if the Acharya you are supposed to be following, is he truthful or not? Is he talking sense or not? If he doesn't say the truth, at least in this obvious case, if despite seeing that there's no Shankara idol, and you're hearing some person saying that there is a Shankara idol, if despite that you follow him, it's up to you. It may be your past karma, but otherwise, if you are an intelligent person, you should question, should my Acharya be truthful, trustworthy? Should I follow such a person? And so on. So this is a premier institution, shRngeri Sharada Pitha. So you should consider this thing. Even by the standards of Shankara, which is not that high, even by those standards, as I quoted here, the adherence to pratyaxa pramANa is not being seen in this case. Is it the only case? No, it's not the only case. So, they have some weird historical interpretation that Vidyaranya was not Sayana's brother, which is sort of contradicting history and so on. But let's leave that aside. Let us look at another case. So this was shRngeri Sharada Pitha, would-be Pithadipati, speaking about the Tirupati temple. Now, even the KAnchi-maTha does basically the same thing, sort of the same thing with Kanchi-Varadaraja temple. God only knows why they have this jealousy towards such temples. Now, as a matter of fact, the Acharya here, the junior Acharya, vidhushekhara, was born Venkateshvara-Prasada-SharmA to some Avadhanulu, who was a veda-pataka, who was supported by the Venkateshvara temple's veda-parayana scheme. So by this veda-parayana scheme, a lot of Vedic scholars are being supported by the donations garnered by the non-Shankara Vaikhanasa Vaishnava tradition of the Tirupati temple, which is a very noble thing. Without looking at sectarian differences, they help Vaidikas to live a life and preserve the Vedas. So grateful was this gentleman's father that he named him Venkateshvara-Prasada-Sharm'a. He did not name him shANkara-Sthapita-Dhanakarshana-Yantra-Prasada-Sharm'a. He named it Venkateshvara-Prasada-Sharm'a. Now, if he were of the opinion that it is all magic of some Dhanakarshana Yantra, he might have named him that. It would have been more ridiculous, but he did not do that, to his credit. And yet, such tales are being spun which are verifiably false. Okay. Now, as we said, let us look at the next example, the Kanchi-Varadaraja temple. It seems that some followers of some followers of KAnchi-maTha, they say that Shankaracharya re-established or rebuilt or something the Varadaraja temple, the famous Varadaraja temple in Kanchi. For as a as a matter of fact, they say that let us see. Okay, so here you see this image. They use this image as proof. This is the image on the right is supposed to be Shankaracharya with a Anjali Mudra, and this is supposed to be Vyasa, according to them. All right. And this, of course, is the learned junior, now senior Acharya of the KAnchi-maTha. I think his name is Vijayendra Saraswati. Please forgive me for any mistakes. I am not familiar with the Shankara tradition. He's a great scholar, at least I can say that. However, you see him here in the foreground, and in the background this is supposed to be Shankara and Vyasa. And you see, let us, even their Twitter account, it has the same image. You see this, the same thing. The sculpture of sage Vyasa sitting, Adi Shankaracharya on the pillar. Mantap near entrance of Sri Perundevi Tayar Sannidhi in Sri Varadaraja Temple in Kanchipuram. So this is the official KAnchi-maTha page. Alright. Now, it is funny because it is obviously false. That image is not of Shankaracharya, as lots of evidence shows. So the credit to exposing this clearly goes to a Madhva called Vivek Surya, who is from Tamil Nadu. So let us look at his video here.
Ramanige Hanumanta.
Okay, so here is Rama, Sita, and Hanuman here. You see the tail here. So tail, face, Hanuman. Alright, you can zoom it and see. You can visit the place yourself. Okay, let us.
Rama Hanumanta. Krishnanige Bhim.
So here is Krishna. You see the top knot, Krishna, and Bhima with the Gada here. This is signature Madhva iconography. Bhima, Vayu, being an Amsha of, or an avatar of Vayu, just like Hanuman, just like Madhvacharya, is a very important figure in the Madhva theology. So you see Madhva representation of Bhima, the representation of Vayu, serving Krishna, representing Sri Vishnu, just as Hanuman was serving Rama. And furthermore, let's see. Okay, so naturally the next entity would be Madhvacharya saluting Vedavyasa. Madhvacharya, not Shankaracharya. This was the image being used by the KAnchi-maTha gentleman ignorantly. And this is the fourth side. Okay, there is Krishnaji Pantha here and two Madhva sannyasis who are historically attested. Furthermore, there is an inscription on the pillar as well, which clearly identifies that the Madhva Uttaradi-maTha people helped rebuild the mandapa, which was ruined, damaged by Aurangzeb's invasion. So, you see, here is another case where the KAnchi-maTha Shankara tradition is violating pratyaxa. You can see for yourself that it has nothing to do with Shankaracharya. It is Madhvacharya. See, pratyaxa is not only what we see, but whatever is seen plus whatever Anumana adds to it as well. There is pratyaksha, what you see on one side, and there is shabda pramANa, like Vedas, Smritis, Itihasas on the other side. Anumana by itself won't tell you anything. It needs an input, some data to produce inferences. It could be pratyaksha or it could be shabda or it could be both. Now, So that not being an Anumana not being an independent pramana, it can be subsumed under pratyaxa or shabda, depending on whatever it serves. So that's there. So even by the standards of Shankara, you see that the prominent KAnchi-maTha is really powerful and prominent in Tamil Nadu, and even out it has done outstanding work regarding preserving Vedas, just like Chinnajiyar has done with the Maitrayaniya Shakha. And furthermore, they can correct themselves. They have shown that they can correct themselves. Unlike most other mathas, KAnchi-maTha, to their really great credit, have chosen not to celebrate uttarAyaNa Punyakala on Makara Sankranti, but rather on the solstice day in December 22nd and thereabouts. And so the commonplace idiocy of us Hindus, many of us Hindus, not all of us, many of us, is that even though the sun starts moving to the north, we keep saying Dakshinayane, 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 Dakshinayane for many days until January 14th hits, and then we start saying uttarAyaNa, uttarAyaNa, uttarAyaNa. However, we should have, if we are truthful, Satyam Vada Dharmanchara, if we are truthful, we should say uttarAyaNa sooner. So to their credit, the KAnchi-maTha people have auto-corrected themselves. So maybe due to some ignorance, they have made this mistake. They should also correct this mistake which they have made. It's okay if they take an idol of Madhvacharya and worship it as Shankaracharya, it is okay. But at least acknowledge that you are not you're not identifying the image on the pillar as Shankaracharya. At least acknowledge that it is actually Madhvacharya, we were mistaken. However, the lack of hair and so on features are similar, so we'll worship as Shankaracharya. That is perfectly fine. Just as Sri Madhvacharya might have taken a Subramanya Vigraha, an abandoned thing, and considered him to be Krishna. So Subramanya had abandoned that idol. Krishna was invoked there and seen there, and he was installed as Udupi Krishna. So there is nothing wrong or inconsistent with that. You are free to do that, but at least be truthful. Don't say that Shankaracharya had put a dHanakarshana yantra in Tirupati. He got a image carved of himself in Tirupati Devasthana, or say that Shankaracharya's image is was carved knowingly. Shankaracharya's image was carved in Varadaraja Swami Temple, that he established it, and so on. It would be ridiculous. So hoping that the popular Shankara-mathas at least live up to Shankaracharya's not so high standards of truth. I also would take this opportunity to warn you about some other more serious mistakes the Shankara-mathas make, which is that they aid common misunderstandings about they spread common misunderstandings about Shankara's works. So people who boldly make such ridiculous statements which are verifiably false regarding the Tirupati temple, Varadaraja temple, which you and I can go and see. Imagine what all funny concoctions they might be making in cases where common man has no access or understanding, right? So some of that is as follows. So Shankaracharya did not author hundreds of works such as some tantric text of a later age and hundreds of stotras, including Bhaja Govinda, whatever. a Saundarya Lahari maybe. So all that you should not believe. However, the mathas have some interest in spreading that canard, and uh, based on those texts, they claim that he was a hari-harAbheda-vAdI. That he was a ShaNmata-sthApaka, even though clearly Shankara says that Subramanya is a jiva in his text, and the Rudras are not Brahma. The Saptamatrikas are not to be worshipped by Satvika people, and so on. Shankaracharya in his Gita Bhashya, Sri Bhashya, and no, sorry, not Sri Bhashya, Brahma Sutra Bhashya makes it absolutely clear. Yet contradicting that, doing all sorts of gymnastic hurdles, they claim that he was a ShaNmata-sthApaka. So these are popularized by the major mathas like shRngeri and so on, kAnchi-maTha. So that one should be careful about. So if you are a Shankara by birth or something, it's fine. Study their philosophy, but at least be careful about these strange problems, these traps. There are honest Shankaras. For example, there was a very great scholar called Ramasubramanya Shastri, Ramasubba Shastri or something like that. He wrote Mahashaiva Matamardhanam, a brilliant text. I read a few pages of it. I'm yet to proofread it and read it properly, but whatever I read was quite brilliant. I mean, he's saying he's doing Vitandavada, that he's a hari-harAbheda-vAdI, and yet his arguments are really good. So there are such honest Shankaras, and there are, for example, the Matha in Hole Narsipura was established by someone called Sachidanandendra Saraswati, who clearly said that Shankara authoring all these hundreds of books is false. So there are honest Shankaras. I would hope that the major Shankara-mathas, which attract a huge following of ignorant smartas, hope they up their game and stay at least as truthful as Shankaracharya's, Adi Shankaracharya's standards alone. So that was all I had in this video. Thank you very much. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.